Want to call the meeting to order? If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Present.
Trustee Caprio?
Present.
Trustee Rogers?
Present.
Trustee Suisse? Present. Trustee Pasmino?
Present.
Trustee Backel?
Present.
Mayor Yukich?
Present. Are there any amendments to the agenda? No. Okay. We will do reports and communications first. First one is the village is holding a food drive throughout the month of March. The trailer is currently outside of Village Hall and will collect food through March 26th. Donations will go to the Lockport Fish Food Pantry. Monetary donations can also be made directly to the food pantry on their website at https://lockportfoodpantry.com. A list of suggested items to donate can be found in the special events section of the village website, and we want to thank you for your continued generosity. Second, tulip art in the park. This spring, Heritage Park will host another community art project. Long after winter, visitors to Heritage Park's active core will be greeted by cheerful and colorful tulips. Similar to the scarecrows and snowmen, tulips can be purchased for $10 and decorated. The tulips are now on sale, and you can register through the Homer Glen Junior Women's Club at tulipart.evenbright.com. Information is available on the village website, and the tulips will be on display between April 24th and May 24th. Next is something that I'd like to say. I've been thinking about this for the last couple months with everything that I've seen going on around the village, and tonight I just feel like I need to speak from my heart. I prepared my thoughts in advance to make sure that I don't miss something that I feel is important to share with the community. As many of you know, I can get quite passionate about things that I feel are very important to Homer Glen. For the past 15 years, I have been a public servant of Homer Glen. I started on the Plan Commission, then as a trustee, and now I'm in my last term as mayor. It has been an honor of my lifetime because I do love Homer Glen very much. But the last few months, I have watched many in the community spiral into negativity, self-doubt, and fear of change. The upcoming April local election has clearly outlined this, and I believe we stand at a crossroads of our future. At the end of the day, what matters in Homer Glen is positive leadership, positive change, and when I think of leadership, the following words come to my mind: ethics, contribution, honesty, strategy, integrity, forward vision, responsibility, motivation, positivity, and transparency. Homer Glen was incorporated under the premise of positivity, pride, and controlling our own destiny. This board, including those up for re-election, have met our challenge with public leadership. Never in our history as a village is leadership more important than now. We have individuals who are trying to tear our town apart, spread lies and mistruths. They have nothing positive to say about the village, their fellow neighbors, or the future of our town. Please let me clarify a few facts for the benefit of the residents. During this election, we have been accused of lining our pockets and taking kickbacks, which this is very insulting to all of us who serve you. As a mayor, I make $15,000 a year. Our trustees make $6,000 a year. When I ran for office in the beginning, I didn't even know there was a salary and didn't care about a salary. The board could have raised their salaries many times, but no one wanted to because no one here has done anything here for money. We all publicly disclose our financial interests every year to the county by law, and this is simply offensive. We have been accused of closed-door deals. and lying to the public. But we have been rated number 2 in the entire state of Illinois for transparency by the Better Government Watchdog Group. We share everything publicly, including information that might not be popular, but needed. We hold countless meetings to educate and share information, such as the road district informational meetings and the updated comprehensive plan meetings. These were difficult projects and conversations to have, but we did it anyway. Because of the future of Homer Glen is important, this is strong, positive leadership. We strive every day to communicate with our community. We videotape our meetings, we Zoom our meetings, we've invested in updated technology with residents complained about the quality of our old technology. We worked with Comcast to create our own Channel 6 and share information. We started direct mailings and newsletters to each home. We send out emails to our subscribers every week. We have increased our Facebook social engagement by 60%. Still, this is seen as all bad for the Norma Ray and Steve Ballages of our town. I ask you what have I done specifically to your community or for you? What have they given back, volunteered for, or served on any village committees? No one from the slates of Steve Ballages have come forward to do anything for the village. We listened to our residents. You wanted more parks, we accomplished this. You wanted more amenities, we did this. You wanted more special events, we have them. You wanted more access, we did this. And we did it all debt-free, with no property tax increase. We listened, we put together a plan, and we got it done in a positive manner. Again, strong, positive leadership. Please fog up. We lead by both words and actions. Integrity matters. We don't hide behind fake Facebook names or groups. We don't bully our residents at public hearings and accuse them of being gangbangers or criminals. We don't limit or block opposing views. We don't riot at the steps of the Capitol or in the streets of our town and then expect to hold your respect. We represent all of our residents, regardless of the political affiliations. We don't call each other horrible names in person or on Facebook. Again, strong, positive leadership matters. We need strong leaders in Homer Glen. Leaders are, by definition, change makers when are called to lead. You are called to advance, move forward, and improve the situation. I sincerely ask each of our residents to pay attention and educate. Give me a second here. Many of those who are running in this upcoming election are armchair quarterbacks. They have done nothing positive and they have spread lies and misinformation. Unfortunately, now our best village manager has tendered her resignation. And part of this because we need to come together as a community and shut down these bullies and liars. We are better than this, and we don't want to allow Homer Glen to move backwards. Together we can continue and make positive changes for our families and community. I ask Steve Ballich and the slate of candidates to please stop trying to destroy our village and tell the truth. I ask our residents to get the facts, and if you don't know the facts, reach out to me. I'll answer any phone call that I get, and I'll give you the straight answer that are on these. So the mistruths have to be stopped. Tell the people in this village exactly what's going on. Let them know. We've got nothing to hide here, and I don't think anyone else should either. So that's my take on what's going on right now. So thank you for listening, and we will go to the trustees now, and we'll start out with Trustee Pasmino.
Nothing to report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Trustee Caprio.
Reporting on behalf of the Homerfest Committee, we're continuing to plan the festival for this year. We have a meeting next Tuesday for anybody who'd like to attend. We're trying to engage some other groups and some other activities throughout the coming year for the festival. Band lineup has been set. Social distancing, again, I'll repeat, is not really an option for us this year, so we hope that the state, the governor, will appreciate that and allow us to have a full-blown activity, but we will follow guidelines as needed. We are also going to discuss that on Tuesday, but we plan on having a full-blown community festival, and it's our 20th anniversary this year, so of incorporation. So we plan on making sure it is a festival and a anniversary special to remember. And then I'd like to report on behalf of Public Services and Safety. We had a meeting this past Tuesday. Wednesday, sorry. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, many meetings. I'd like to actually give kudos to John Robinson and the EMA and all the first responders for coming up with a great emergency operating procedure plan for our community. It's a regional plan. John will be presenting that later today in a workshop, but I just thought it was really well thought of and developed, and we're going to implement it, I believe, at some point here soon. I just wanted to make sure that I gave kudos to the group who worked on that together. So thank you guys collectively.
Thank you, Trustee Caprio. Trustee Suisse?
No report, Mayor. We canceled our Environment Committee meeting in March.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Rogers?
No report.
Trustee Backel?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just reiterate what Trustee Caprio had to say about John Robinson's presentation. I think that it was well done, and I think it will be well received.
Thank you. And Trustee Gray?
No report tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Village Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. At our last board meeting, the board had approved a special needs committee. Since then, I've personally received numerous, I've personally received numerous calls and emails, Facebook messages, and so on from residents expressing their gratitude for the board's support. I also received many inquiries about how to volunteer and how to be a part of the committee. This feedback, I would like to make the recommendation of changing the Special Needs Committee from a subcommittee to a standalone committee, as there is so much interest for this, and because I feel that this committee does touch every other committee in a way where the Special Needs Committee can work with the rest of the committees. So that's one thing. I would also like to explain to everyone else in the room why we're wearing maroon today. We're wearing maroon to show support to a stallion family that was injured in a car accident, I believe, on February 27th. I just wanted to read a few comments that have been written on Facebook, thanking us for standing united and supporting this family. One of the comments were, "Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The support and prayers are awesome. We appreciate your thoughtfulness in trying to bring awareness in the community and showing your support. Thank you for standing with us while supporting the Bruno family and the Stallions. Thank you for sharing the Bruno story in a time like this. This really needs support, and it's nice to see the village rally behind them." So basically, that's just a few comments of just a few residents that are appreciative of us coming together and showing unity for a resident in need. So thank you for wearing maroon today. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Next would be Village Attorney.
No report.
Thank you. Public Safety Officials?
No report, Your Honor.
Thanks, Lieutenant. Village Manager?
Mr. Mayor, if you would allow me, I do have a prepared statement that I would like to read into the record tonight.
Please do.
Dear Mayor Yukich and Village Board of Trustees, it is with my utmost respect and appreciation of the Village Board, our staff, and the Homer Glen community that I submit my resignation from the Village of Homer Glen. After over 27 years, I have decided to step away from the profession of local municipal government. I have struggled with this decision to end this chapter of my career. However, I have been presented with an incredible opportunity to use my skills and experience in pursuit of a similar but different career path. As such, I have accepted the position of Executive Director for the Forest Preserve District of DuPage County. Please know that I have not been actively seeking new employment, and I have been very happy serving Homer Glen. However, after further review and deep reflection on both my personal and professional life, I have decided this opportunity is in the best interest of myself and my family. Serving as the village manager for Homer Glen has truly been an honor for me. I am very proud of the village board and our staff. This team is simply inspiring. I am so thankful for the opportunity to not only work with each of you, but to genuinely call all of you my friends. Homer Glen has so much to be proud of, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for this village. I am proud of everything that we have accomplished in the past 2 years, and it is my hope to still be part of the Homer family for many years to come. Throughout my career, I have worked for many boards. If I could speak directly to the residents of Homer Glen, I would want them to know how much each of you passionately care about Homer Glen. You do this not for money, fame, ego, or recognition. You do this because you want the very best for your hometown. After 27 years in the local government profession, it is easy to become cynical. At times, it has been difficult for me to stay quiet in the face of political personal attacks against myself, Mayor Yukich, the village board members, and staff. Unfortunately, too many people have no idea what honest public service is. Too often, they criticize without commitment or offering anything in return for the positive betterment of their own community. I still truly believe being a public servant is one of the most honorable professions, and I commend all of you for your service today. I will continue as a public servant, but on a different path going forward. In no way should my personal decision reflect poorly on this board, our staff, or this community. I know some in the community will negatively twist this and use this either against myself, the mayor, the village board, or the overall organization. And I want Homer Glen to know directly from me tonight, I have been extremely blessed here, and I have enjoyed every single day while serving here. I want the Homer Glen residents to know how very lucky they are to have such dedicated board members and staff who work tirelessly on their behalf. Honestly, this village board and our staff are among the most professional, committed, and sincere individuals I have ever worked with in my entire 27-year career. While I'm excited about my new career path, I am going to dearly miss everyone here. While I will be providing a 30-day notice with my final day of employment on April 7th. I will continue to prepare final reports outlining the status of the many proactive and exciting projects that are currently being undertaken by the village. And I will remain available to answer any questions or provide assistance as needed through this transition. This is not goodbye, as I plan to still stay involved and connected with this wonderful village. And again, I want to thank you all for this incredible honor to serve this community. Thank you.
And we want to thank you too. Carrie, you've gotten so much done for us in the last 2 years that everyone in here and the residents should be very proud of everything that you have done and what we have done.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And I thank you very much for giving us the time you have. Okay. Is there any public comments? We have one from Roy Adcock. If you could, yes, sir. Thank you.
Takes me a minute to get up here. Oh, no, we got to take these things off, right? So you can hear me. My name's Roy Adcock, 16356 West 146th. Mr. Mayor, you stole my thunder. You hit on everything that I was going to come up here to talk about. Because I told him up here to talk, I was going to ask a simple question about this Will County News flyer. Because it was interesting, I get this flyer emailed to me, and back in December, it was all about how glorious the $57 per 100,000, you guys finally got a property tax, it was such a great thing. And then in February, I get one that said, backroom deal cut between Homer Glen and Homer Township and the road department. How simple it went from a good thing to a bad thing in 2 months, right as this election is coming. The stuff that is going on out there from this, I'm not even going to get into the name because we all know the name. I'm tired of hearing about it. the stuff that is going on out there. We were at our meeting I attended, it's not mine, it was Homer Township's meeting, and they brought up how this same flyer is put out saying Homer Township is broke. Well, they proved that was wrong, and I can tell from what your comments were, didn't even have to dwell on it, that there was no backroom deals. I can tell by the look in your eye, there was no backroom deals cut for this $57, whatever it is. I appreciate the honesty in that. I know you and I've been up here before, we might have our differences, but that's the way it goes. Nobody's ever going to agree all the time. I don't expect to agree with you. And I'm sure you don't agree with me sometimes, but we are going to work things out. And that's just the way it has to be. We all agree. We do work it out sooner or later. And I do respect you guys. I know sometimes you might think of me as, well, who is this guy from Lockport Heights? He's just another elected official over there. He comes here and disrupts our meetings once in a while, right? I see you laughing up there. Some of you are all laughing behind your mask. That's okay, though. That's what we're here for. We're supposed to be that way. But these huge attacks on this, it's a shame. I'm a long Republican, and to see these kind of attacks coming from this, shouldn't even be the home of the Republican Party, to attack everybody in here on you guys is an outright shame. And I respect what you had to say tonight, and I just want to make that very clear. I respect you for what you said.
Thank you.
So, enough said on that. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. Next will be the consent agenda. All matters listed under the All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. Is there a motion to approve the following items? 1, the accounts payable for the period of February 26, 2021 through March 11, 2021 in the amount of $319,502.59. 2, payment of the Village of Homer Glen's January legal bills for Mahoney Silverman and Cross LLC in the amount of $13,727.75. Payment of Tree Architecture's invoice number 3519 and 3596 for Heritage Park Design services in the amount of $20,938.55. Sorry, I got to take this off. My glasses are getting all screwed up. A motion authorizing the mayor to sign an intergovernmental agreement with Will County for the household hazardous waste and electronics collection event on Saturday in 2021. A motion to approve a reduction of letter of credit for the Square Goodings Grove development to the new amount of $139,471.75 in accordance with the village code.
So moved.
Trustee Gray?
I'll second.
Trustee Caprio? Discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Motion carries. Legislation and action items. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-006, an ordinance approving 1, a variance to increase the maximum permitted height of a fence located in a corner yard which abuts to front yard of another lot from 4 feet to 6 feet, and 2, a variance to permit a solid fence in a corner side yard which abuts a front yard to another lot where fences are required to be 50% open in design for certain real property located in the R2 Single Family Residential District at 14654 South Hawthorne Court, Homer Glen, Illinois.
I so move.
Trustee Suisse,
I'll second.
Trustee Backel, discussion?
Is the petitioner here?
Yeah, Megan, please come in here.
Hi.
Hi. I just have a quick comment from what was stated, I guess you were at the Plan Commission as well on February 18th?
My husband was.
Your husband. Okay, well, he said the petitioner approached to discuss the semi-truck traffic on the road, adding that a 6-foot fence opposed to 4 would be a bit more security and great. My concern is it really semi-truck traffic on that road? Because
Yes.
well, Lieutenant Holly, we have another issue similar to Gauger then, because I was out there today and there's definitely signs posted on that stretch of 147th, no semi-truck traffic is allowed.
Correct.
Only
There's-
up to that Lamont Road, and they're supposed to turn off and not come straight.
Yes,
So I think there's another traffic issue there.
yes.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Lieutenant Howley, they'll look into it for you.
Okay,
So this,
thank you.
all right, did
Okay, that
anyone-
was my only question, because that, struck me, because I said there's signs at both from Lamont Road to Cream that
Yes.
semi-trucks are not allowed there.
Yeah, we've known that, but there's always semi-trucks on that
Okay,
road.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Rogers? Aye. Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino? Aye. Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 2, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-007, an ordinance approving 1, an amendment of a plan unit development with an exception to reduce the required parking from 267 spaces to 149 spaces. Site plan approval, and 3, a variance to exterior construction standards for certain real property located in the C3 General Business District of 15624 Marion Drive, Homer Glen, Illinois, case number HG2103PS.
I so move.
Trustee Caprio?
Second.
Trustee Gray? Are there any questions or discussion?
Mr. Mayor, we do have some fiber cement panels they're going to use on the elevation, so I'm going to pass them around.
Yes, I did. Can the architect come up and explain a couple of where this, these cement panels are only going in that one red section, and can you just explain a little bit about the luminaire schedule and the tree removal schedules?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Stallman with Perkins Eastman. I'm here representing.
You can take the mask off because we can't understand you. Much better.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Stallman. I'm an architect with Perkins Eastman, and I'm here representing my client, Franciscan Ministries, the owners and operators of Marion Village. We're requesting, as you heard, several variances. For the exterior materials, we have a palette of 5 materials: brick, primarily brick, stone, glass for our windows, and then 2 types of fiber cement. One is a lap siding. It's a hardy lap siding product, and the other is a flat panel fiber cement product, also by Hardy, James Hardy. On the screen right now, we can see an elevation of the rear of the building. The red highlighted areas in the lower elevation drawing are what you'd see as the lap siding. What's shown as blue would be the flat panel fiber cement siding. And in your packets, you should also have
Excuse me. Does anyone hear that phone? Oh, you're turning it off now? Okay, thank you.
and within your packet, you should have a site plan that has these same colors, the orange and the blue, highlighting the walls that are going to receive those 2 materials. So I hope that explains the fiber cement. If
Does
there are any
anyone
other,
have any questions?
Do the residents of Marion have any say-so in this?
we have had meetings with the client, our owner's rep, who's then, and the CEO of the Franciscan Ministry Marion Village campus. And we've gotten approval from them, and they've shared all the plans with the residents as we've gone along through the process over the last year.
So the residents are aware of this?
It is my understanding that yes, they are.
Sharon, or Trustee Suisse, are your questions answered?
Well, this is
For-
more or less for the future for the board. Under the tree preservation, they are allowed, because they're not residential, they're commercial, they are allowed to remove up to 74% of the trees in that area, and I think that's something we have to look at and bring down. That's a lot. That's clear cutting maybe there's not a lot of trees here, but I mean in other properties that would be devastating. And also, he did explain the luminaire schedule just pertains, because there is 4,000 and 5,000, and before the meeting I asked him about that, those just pertain to indoor lighting and that they're compliant with the outdoor.
May I respond to the comment about the planting? We are removing 74% of the significant inches of trees. So it is a calculation based on the diameter of trees on the site. And so it's not 74% of the trees. And I'll also point out that the Marion Village, or this property is approximately 80 acres. And our calculations is based off of the area of construction. And it's sort of where our building is and sort of the immediate adjacent area. It is not accounting for the entire 80 acres. So if we were to account for the full site, we would be removing, a fraction, of the site. I couldn't give you a true number, but it is a heavily planted site across the whole 80 acres.
Okay,
So
thank you.
it's 74% of the significant inches just within the construction zone.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And our site plans, you'll see there's a heavy dashed line that indicates the area of construction.
My only concern is that we don't have any feedback from the people that actually live there that have to see this. I mean, I don't have a problem with the project itself, and personally, I think it looks fine, but I would like to see what the residents who have to look at this every day say. And the fact that I'm not convinced, based on the conversations that I've had over there, that they know anything about this or have seen it. And that's my only concern. It's important that, that they're kept into the loop. This is their home. They own this. And it's just like as if a neighbor wanted a variance for the next door, were they made aware of it? That's a huge concern that I have.
Mayor, I'd just like to say, is the architect the only one here for the petitioner? There's nobody else here from Marion Village. I just want to say I'm glad to see that the Homer Township Fire Protection District has been able to work with the management of Franciscan villages and Marion Village in getting, making sure that the impact to the fire department that they'll be compensated for that. So, that won't fall to the rest of the residents of the village. So I'm glad to see that's part of this packet piece.
Vijay, can you address Trustee Rogers' concerns about public notification in terms of the public hearing and how that was dealt with this project?
Sure. It was published in the paper, and all the neighbors within 250 feet were notified. And of course, the Marion Village itself is aware of the project coming up. So the suggestion I would make is to address your comments. They can have a pre-construction meeting or open house before they apply for the building permit just to make sure the residents are, invited to the open house.
But then it's too late.
As far as
In my
making,
mind, if we were to notify everybody that within 250 feet, they should have all got a mailer.
the Marion Village was, they were aware of the project. In fact, Jessica was at the Plan Commission meeting. Ryan, could you, of Jessica, what?
Sure. Jessica Basili is our owner's representative for Franciscan Ministries, and she oversees construction of all the projects across their organization. And she was president at the Planning Commission meeting.
But she doesn't live there. So what I'm saying is all of the people that live there should have got, in my opinion, should have got a letter saying that this was coming up. And if you put if it was posted outside, they're not going to see it. They're all still under very strict COVID. So that's my concern.
Well,
I have no other questions. I'm good with this.
everyone else?
Good.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion before I call the roll?
I feel like it should be tabled until those residents are notified, just like as if anybody who lives in a house and they live 250 feet away from it, these people own those units. They're owners. They should have gotten a notice.
I thought that's what he said, that within 250 feet, they did get a notice.
They did not. I was just.
Well, legally, we're required to notify the neighbors abutting the planned unit development, not the residents within the PUD.
Well, the residents within the PUD, they should know. They live there.
Well, Jessica should have informed the residents, so that part we don't know, so.
I mean, that's a point that Trustee Rogers is trying to get across is you've asked people that don't live there, and they're not going to look at it every day, and not the people that do live there that have to look at it every day. I don't think it's a big thing to ask if it could be looked at. If the people don't want to go, then they don't want to go, but you got to give them the opportunity.
I was there on Friday, and, granted, I only talked to 2 people. They knew nothing about this. And they're very involved in the village. They sit around in the game room all the time where they're able to sit. As a visitor, I wasn't able to stay in the game room with them, so I wasn't able to talk to anybody else, but they knew nothing about it. And then Carla was nice enough to share some of it with them this past week to drop some information off. I feel like they should have gotten a notice because they own those units, they live there, they're within 250 feet of the proposed project. So somewhere that corporate veil was pierced and that didn't happen, and I feel like it should.
Are you making a motion to table?
I can't make a motion to table it. I mean, that's what I'd like to. I'd like to see it. The motion's already on it. I'd like to see it tabled till the residents are properly notified.
Trustee Caprio made the initial motion. Trustee Gray second.
But I think this is an asset to the community.
100%, I do too. But again, I still think the proper procedure is for those people to be made aware of all of a sudden this new building that's going to go up, and they don't have any, if they weren't asking for a variance on the exterior, I would be more comfortable with it. But these are people who pay very good money to live there, and they're the ones that are going to have to see it.
There can be a motion to table a pending motion.
Then I would make that motion.
Carla, they would have to rescind their motion, right?
No, you don't have to rescind the motion. You have to vote on whether to table it. If it then passes to table, it's tabled till a further meeting.
And if it isn't, it goes through.
And then if it isn't, then it goes back to discussion and closing the vote and voting on it.
I think my issue with it is if these were younger families, they would have taken the initiative to investigate this. They probably would have been more active in the conversation, but I think you're right, because they're elderly, they probably being sheltered inside, they probably were unaware and disengaged only because they're dealing with other issues rather than
Yeah,
this.
they don't get the Homer Horizon anymore, so they're not reading that. Not a lot of them are subscribed, I would think, I don't know, not a lot of people get paid to get newspapers delivered to them anymore. So I'm just saying the conversation that I had there on Friday with somebody who's active in this residential facility knew nothing about it, nothing.
And I appreciate what you're saying. My whole thought is if we table this, and if they have a meeting, will the ownership, the unit owners, have a say-so in any changes to the plan? Probably not, because it's an owner of the property who's going to want to put this up.
Right, just like
But just
if-
informative.
Right, and just like as if the next door neighbor, he can't stop it, it would be up to us. But I would like to know, and I would be at that meeting. I would like to hear what their feedback is on this. If they're all for it, then that's great. If they have huge concerns, then that's something that that as a trustee, I want to know. And
Yeah, and
wanna
I
know
have
what
no
those
problem
concerns are.
supporting that. I think that's a very good, valid point, that they haven't had the opportunity to have a workshop that says this is what we'd like to do.
I don't even know with COVID if they can have a workshop.
Yeah, I don't even know.
That was going to be my other point.
Yeah,
With the
but they
elderly,
could-
this COVID affects them far more than it affects us.
But what they're doing there is they stagger. So even when they eat meals, they go, instead of, you get to go down when you want to, you have an assigned time. So they could have a workshop where they staggered it, or even an open house where they said, floor 2, you can go at this time. And they can, even if it's not even a formal presentation, it's a board with something, so put it up there and let them see it. I'm not saying that we have to table this to put out a 30-day notice or all of that, but I would like them to have the opportunity to come down into that game room and look and see what it is, and look at the design, and just have some kind of feedback on it.
We have an approval of a motion to go forward with a condition of some sort of.
No, because I wouldn't want that, because I want to know what their concerns are, if they have concerns. So, just having a thing so they see it, again, that's after the fact, right? I want to see what their thoughts are on this. And for some of them, to be able to have the opportunity to invite maybe a caretaker or a family member who, like I said, these are very expensive units to be in. It's a big investment for them. And I just think that it's the prudent thing to do.
So how would that work? Is that a notice that we would send out here to all the residents, or is that something that
I
the
don't
builder
think
would do?
we need
or-
to do that. I don't want to delay it that long where we have to go back out and republish it and do it like that.
And we've
What
already
I would
done
like
it.
to see is, I would like to see the people in charge, I don't know the person's name, in charge, I think it's Dan, in charge, put out a notice to every single person in there, whether it's sliding it under the door, however they do that, I'm not sure. They don't have like TVs where they run it all the time that I've seen. That put it out there, say, okay, on March 23rd, the architects are gonna be downstairs in the game room, and we want you to see what this is and get your feedback on it, and then, listen to what their feedback is, so that we at least don't go in this thinking they're all for it.
Well, if you made a motion, I'd be willing to support that motion as a second, so.
And again, my motion is to just table it so that Marion can facilitate a workshop where it's clear that all of the residents are made aware of what is going on and what it's going to look like.
And a table for how long could it be?
It would be till the next meeting.
All right,
And then
that's
pull it
okay.
off of- yeah.
All right, that gives us 2 full weeks for the next meeting. So if that's fine,
I think that gives them plenty of time to put something
Oh,
together.
I'm sure they probably, I don't know as an architect how long it's going to take you guys to come up with boards, because they can't read this. What we got, they're not going to be able to understand this packet. Because we shared it with one of them. I can't, I've read drawings for years. This is very difficult. I just want boards that they can look at and see what it's going to look like and show them the samples.
well, you've got to have that already, don't you?
We could, excuse me, we could prepare something like that. That's not an issue.
Before the 24th.
I mean, you could just make these boards.
Yeah, just blow that up.
Would you be able to do that before the 24th, or are you looking for maybe to go the first week in April, or the first meeting in April?
Are you suggesting we have a internal workshop with the Marion Village community and come back here on the 24th?
Right. I know I'm not saying you have to do the 24th. If you want to go to the first meeting in April, I'm fine with that too.
Well, you don't want to bring the people here.
No, I'm saying if he can't get this done, I mean, it is, I understand, I'm trying to respect his time. That's a short time for them to try to get this all done. If there's this huge hurry to get it done in 2 weeks as opposed to 4 weeks, it might be easier for him.
I cannot commit to a 24th meeting and commit to a meeting internally without discussing with the client first.
Right.
But he could do that tomorrow. get the ball rolling and find out.
Whatever, I just don't want to, in the motion to say that it's going to go on the 24th, if they don't have time, can we just table it to whenever? Does it have to be in the motion that it's tabled to the 24th?
I think it should be tabled till the 24th, but theoretically, you bring it back up then, and then if it's not ready, you know, it can continue to be tabled.
That's fine.
We would amend it.
So is everyone all right with that?
I had a question. So in the event, let's say they do this workshop, and, you know, you have a deadlock, half people like it, half people don't, and then they come back with those results, what happens? Is it
Then it
just the
comes to
point
us
of-
as leaders in the village to make the decision on what's best for the village as a whole. But not knowing what that is, I'm not comfortable with it. I
So
mean,
you're saying it's
there'll be
just
a lot of votes where the town is divided, right? But that's why we're here. We're going to have to make the decision what is best for the village of Homer Glen.
So we would make that decision on behalf of those residents?
We would make the decision on the behalf of the residents of the village of Homer Glen.
There, okay, I just have a question here. Realistically, Marion Village they're putting these buildings up. They're investing their own money into it. I see your point, Trustee Rogers, but what if the people say, well, no, I don't think, well, no, we like it the way it is. It's not their, I don't think it's their decision.
It's our decision, but I want to know how they feel about it.
Well, the only piece of it that's really our decision is the variance approvals.
Right, and that's what.
We can't tell
And
them
that's what this is,
how
though.
to build it.
Yeah, but that's what this is. It's a
Yeah.
variance on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
brick.
yeah. We can't tell them pink brick versus blue brick.
That's not the point here.
Yeah.
Okay, just for clarification, Trustee Rogers had made a motion to table. I thought I may have heard Trustee Caprio second, but I was not too clear on that.
I have seconded it.
Okay.
Okay, so they've got till the 24th of this month to,
Well, that is the motion on the table.
Right.
So that is
So
what
we-
we'd be voting on.
right, so that's what we need to vote. So is there's any more comments, let's get them done, and if there's not, let's call the roll.
Can you, Attorney, can you read just a motion for clarification for the clerk so she knows how to write it into the minutes?
This would be a motion to table the approval of this ordinance till the following meeting, the following board meeting. I don't have that date in front of me.
March 24th.
Okay? All right, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Motion carries. If Dan needs any help or he has any questions, what's his name? Okay, next. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-008, an ordinance approving a zoning map amendment to rezone the subject properties from an R4 single-family residential district to the OS-1 open space district per section 220504 of the Village of Homer Glen zoning code for certain real property located at 13220, 13230, 13240 West Awanadaga Trail in Homer Glen, Illinois.
I so move.
Trustee Suisse,
I second.
Trustee Rogers, discussion.
Mayor, my only comment is that I hope there's a lot more OS1 zoning in the future in the village.
Okay. Is that all the discussion we do have on it? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Motion carries. That was easy. Next, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-009, an ordinance approving zoning code text amendments to section 220 through 303, definitions, section 220 through 836, automobile repair, service, and body shops. And Section 220 Amendment 2, use and bulk tables for non-residential districts, case number HG 2104-A.
So moved.
Trustee
Gray.
Gray.
I'll second.
Trustee Caprio. Discussion. This is another business coming in to basically restore cars in one building, and then they're going to have some sales in them, and then the body shop in the other, which has been here for forever. I think it'll be very good for the community, and I believe that they're taking over the old building right next door to them. So,
And this is also a long business in Homer Glen that has recently put in a lot of money into improving the exterior of their building.
Yeah, the facade.
and he's going to do it again next door. So is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Pazmino?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, is there a motion to approve deferral of payment of liquor licenses for Class A, B, F, I, L until August 1st, 2021?
I so move.
Trustee Caprio?
I'll second.
Trustee Backel? Is there discussion?
We just, I'll just add that we discussed this at A&F, and again, it's just another way that the village and the trustees and the mayor are trying to do whatever we can to support the businesses during these COVID restrictions. Hopefully, by the summer, people will be able to eat outside more, we'll see more revenue in some of these places, and it'll help to ease some of the financial burden. So whatever we can do to continue to support them, I think we should do.
I agree. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
I must abstain due to conflict.
And Mayor Yukich?
Yes. Okay, next, is there a motion to approve ordinance 21-010, an ordinance extending the repayment deadline for COVID-19 Emergency Small Business Assistant Loan Program to May 31st, 2022?
So moved.
Trustee Rogers?
I'll second.
Trustee Backel? Discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I was wondering, because that would be well over a 2-year period. I would be more comfortable if we relook at this or bring it up again in December and not let it go, because this is May 2022, and that'd be over 2 years. I think it should be looked at the end of the year. I mean, it's, we're going to have this keep piling up, and I think we'll see what happens by the end of the year, whether it should be extended past May then or not.
We can do that.
I would disagree. I go off of the recommendation of Finance Director Sawyer, who has always maintained our books to be impeccable. He doesn't foresee there being an issue of it holding on to the $130,000. And again, it's another way for us to help the businesses and continue to do whatever we can. There's not a lot that we can do, but this is something that we can do and we should do.
And I agree, and just going back to the last agenda item for the liquor license, if you look at the total of the fees that we're extending, I think that it's a lot of money, and so is the $130,000, but it doesn't compare to the loss of a business. And I think that if this is the least of our worries, I think this is the best thing we could do right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I totaled it up quickly. It's about $45,000 or $46,000, $43,000 on the liquor licenses. And, at the end of the day, I think the repayment's going to happen. If it doesn't impact us from a financial perspective that negatively, then I don't have an issue with it.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Backel?
Aye.
Trustee Rogers?
Aye.
Trustee Suisse?
Aye.
Trustee Caprio?
Aye.
Trustee Pazmino?
Council, do I have to abstain for this? I never got a loan, but I don't know, it's for the businesses.
No, you don't.
No? Okay. Aye.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure what your business is exactly, so.
You're good.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
And Mayor Yukich.
Yes. Aye. Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-011, an ordinance extending modified standards in lieu of 220-1005 E-2 of Homer Glen Village Code for temporary signs through November 1st, 2021?
So moved.
Trustee Gray,
I'll second.
trustee Backel, discussion?
I think it's a great idea, especially for the businesses along 159th Street, especially for the car washes and all that type of stuff. So I think it would be a blessing for us to extend that for them. A lot of them don't even know they can do it yet, so.
Yeah, and I got to give kudos, sorry if I interrupted you. I got to give kudos to the businesses who have been very,
Microphone, please.
what's that?
Is your microphone on?
It is.
Oh, I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm giving kudos to the businesses who have really paid attention to this, those who do know of it and have not overdone it. We were concerned about that in the beginning, and I don't think it was abused, and I'm happy.
Trustee Pasmino, I think you might be confused on this because this has nothing to do with car washes. This is for restaurants' outdoor seating.
Yeah, so we're out of order.
I was going to ask.
I was on
Get ready to
temporary
jump in,
signs.
yeah.
I was on temporary signs.
Yeah, that's what the mayor read, I think.
Yeah, he read the temporary signs.
Yeah.
We need
He read temporary.
I'm commenting on that.
So we need to, point of order, we need to go back to number 7, which
We never
is-
did do 7, did we?
No, we skipped it. So we need to go to extension of the rules and guidelines for outdoor dining for restaurants to be effective through November 1st, 2021.
Yeah, I didn't want to stop you, but I thought we didn't do that.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go back to 7.
Now we're all confused.
Now everyone's confused.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the extension of rules and regulations outdoor dining for restaurants to be in effect through November 1st, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this one?
Ruben?
Just ditto what I've been saying all along.
On behalf of the businesses, I could say that this is also excellent, and it's also a blessing for our businesses. And we'll surely take it.
Okay. So I guess we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here?
And I will say that businesses have done very well
I
in
know.
enforcing this.
All right, so could you please call the roll for 7?
Yeah, now I'm out of order. Hold on 1 second.
We're all out of order.
Okay. Trustee Backel.
Aye.
Thank you for taking it slow. Trustee Rogers.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Caprio.
Aye.
Trustee Pasmino.
Aye.
Trustee Gray.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, so now we'll go to 8 and call the roll.
It was trustee Gray that made the motion and trustee Backel. Okay. Trustee Rogers.
Aye.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Caprio.
Aye.
Trustee Pasmino.
Aye.
Trustee Gray.
Aye.
And Trustee Backel.
Motion
Aye.
carries. All right, next, expansion of medical benefits options. Is there a motion to approve adding 2 additional medical plans for 2021 and 2022 annual enrollment period?
I so move.
Trustee Suisse.
Now second. Caprio.
Trustee Caprio. Discussion. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Suisse.
Aye.
Trustee Caprio.
Aye.
Trustee Pasmino.
Aye.
Trustee Gray.
Aye.
Trustee Backel.
Aye.
Trustee Rogers.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, workshop, operating procedure presentation, and budget introduction.
That's yours, I
I was like,
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
See, panic. See, panic. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone got one? All right.
one? Next one? Okay. Okay, so what we're here to talk about is the emergency operations plan. It's been in the works for about the last year. We actually started prior to that, and then there was a change in the requirements. So in midstream, we had to stop and start over. So these are the stakeholders in the plan. As you can see, the Homer Glen Emergency Management Agency, the village itself, and all of our public safety professionals that that work with the village of Homer Glen. Everybody was involved in putting this plan together. Okay, what does an operations plan do? It's pretty simple. It brings together all the agencies to effect control of the incident. Okay, so next is this a one-time event? That, unfortunately, no. As you can see, there's a circle, it's called a preparedness cycle. Where we are right now is in plan. Once we approve the plan, we move on to organization and equipping, then we work on training the plan, then we exercise the plan, and then once we exercise the plan, we see what worked, what didn't work, where we need improvements, what changes may have happened. So generally, it's a 2-year cycle. And then we go back to plan again and start over and address the plan. Okay, the base plan itself has, this was written as a regional plan. The county put us in what they call the Lincoln Way area. So the base plan itself is multi-jurisdictional. It talks about the entire area, because a tornado probably wouldn't just hit Homer Glen. An incident that we would require to bring this plan out would be more of a multi-jurisdictional plan. So the base plan itself is written as a regional plan. Okay, the appendices, provide the relevant detailed information, authorities, references, definitions, acronyms, all of that. So that's what's in the appendices, and it kind of explains that general part of it, okay? The annexes themselves, there's 2 different kinds of annexes. There's functional annexes, which detail the purpose and the scope and structure and responsibilities of the municipal agencies, and the support annexes, which provide guidance and describe the functional processes of the plan. So, I have to apologize, I can't see that far. So, going down the line, okay, we've already talked about the base plan. Then we talk about the definitions, the glossary of terms. Now, for our purposes, we added a couple terms. One of the terms we added was police department, and we changed the definition where police department refers to the Will County, our contract with the Will County Sheriff. The other one that we changed was we added public works, because we don't have a public works currently, so we reference to our agreement with the Homer Township Road District. So those are the change, that's the only change that we made in glossary. Okay, down the line, like I said, the appendices and the indexes. Okay, direction and control, which is the first annex. Direction and control provides the overview of the means we will use to direct and control the activities of government that give essential to saving lives, property, and restore government services. That's where it actually explains the roles of the chief elected official. It describes the roles of the village manager, and it describes the role of the emergency manager. The next one is communications. And what communications basically goes over is the federal, state, and local roles, and the interoperability and restoration of communications. The emergency public information is just that. It's policies and procedures to disseminate accurate, timely, and understandable info and instructions to the public. Disaster intelligence and damage assessment. What that does is it assesses the situation, determines extent, initial damage assessment, and determines what we need for outside help. The next one is evacuation, which is also self-explanatory. It talks about evacuation, the difference between evacuation and sheltering in place. The next one is mass care, emergency assistance, and housing and human services. That covers shelter, feeding, and emergency relief supplies. The next one is public health and medical services, which basically covers mental, physical, and environmental health. The next one is fatality management, which is pretty simple. It's managing of fatalities. The next one is resource management. And there's two parts of that. One is actually coming up with resources to manage the incident. And the other one is managing spontaneous volunteers, which in large-scale incidents is an emergency plan of its own. The final ones are law enforcement, which explains how law enforcement works into our plan. The same thing with fire rescue and EMS. And then public works and engineering are the last two plans. So I know this kind of went quick and we're not really getting into every, itsy bitsy of the plan, but you guys have copies, and if you have any other questions on the plan or have any questions now on the plan, it's just that I could sit here and read it to you or read a PowerPoint to you and we'd all be asleep. So most of the plan is of this document here is just the sticks and boxes of things. It doesn't tell the firemen to put water on the fire. It doesn't tell the policemen how to direct traffic. It's just what the federal government requires, what the state requires, and it just gives us the basic outline of what we have to do to address an incident. So.
I guess I'm just confused why everything says 2018 that we're reviewing.
I'm sorry?
I'm just confused why everything says 2018 that we're reviewing.
Okay, the reason that it says that is this plan was adopted by the county in 2018.
And is this a plan with no changes? So is this?
Well, no, the base plan itself is just the regional part of the plan. We didn't make any changes to the regional part of the plan. What we made changes to is after that. The appendixes, the annexes, that's where we made our changes to the plan.
And those are what you want us to review in here?
Yes.
Well,
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you can read the whole thing. It's just that we're kind of just giving you guys an overview tonight of what we did. The individual sections, like we brought, obviously the fire department looked over their sections. We've, as a group, went through the entire plan. The Will County Health Department has already gone through their section of the plan. Obviously, the Will County Coroner's Office knows their part of the plan, which is fatality management. So everybody is above our level, has already reviewed and approved their part of it. It's just we're going through our part of it with you tonight.
So this, John, this will have to be adopted by the board, right?
Yes.
So this will come back with a formal action item for adoption by the village board at a future date, including the SOP as well.
Yeah, well, we're going to go to the SOP next.
So this is the draft for you guys to review. And again, just if you could just share with the board the process behind the scenes that you guys and all the other agencies put in to get to this draft tonight.
Okay. What we did is we took the sections. We had a work group that's been working on this for about a year, believe it or not, going through section by section, because we had to go through certain things line by line, because Homer Glen is unique in a lot of ways. The one with the police, the other with Public Works, with our agreements. And so we had to literally go through this line by line, past the base plan, for the items to make them Homer Glen specific.
Right.
So different thing, and this, the plan itself doesn't say, you know, like I said, doesn't tell the firemen how to put water on the fire, it doesn't tell the policemen how to direct traffic. They have their tactical plans that tell them what to do in case of whatever. This is more of the background of it, of who's responsible for what, and how those responsibilities lay out.
John, we talked at Public Safety Wednesday about the situation of communicating this to the public. Could you get into that just a little bit as far as the chain of command for explaining an emergency to the public? Similar to the situation with the riots that took place, the mayor spoke on, I think it was on Facebook to the public. The trustees were not involved in that conversation.
Well, some of that has to do with the SOP. That's
what you're just getting to now?
That's the next step of it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
I thought it was really good what you did at the board meeting. I just want to make sure that was...
Right, that's kind of our, once we get past this, then we're gonna, there's 2 more steps to this actually. So, okay. There's nothing else, we can move on to the SOP real quick. Okay, what we did was we put together a standing operating procedure for the board. If you look in your book, in the front cover, there's the SOP number 17, the draft. And what we did was to better explain everybody's responsibilities at the board level, so everybody understands, okay? So I'm going to kind of read through this. So during normal operations, the village board has primary responsibility for setting policy, communicating with their constituents. Elected officials should have a clear understanding of how their staff responds to emergencies and disasters, what resources are available, and the limitations and capabilities of those resources. Elected officials are responsible for ensuring public safety and the welfare of the citizenry, and must have a good, clear understanding of their appropriate roles in each phases of emergency management. So the first phase of emergency management is mitigation. Elected officials should adopt public policy that will mitigate the impact of disasters may have on their community. Mitigation efforts can include stormwater management, promoting sound land use planning based on known hazards, and adopting comprehensive building codes to ensure compliance with applicable standards. The second part is preparedness. Elected officials should ensure the municipality is prepared for a disaster. Some examples of preparation include promoting a qualified and capable emergency management program, development and adoption of an emergency operations plan, training of all staff and village board members, and investing in infrastructure designed to warn the public of disasters such as outdoor warning sirens or emergency radio stations. Response. The primary responsibility to coordinate the response of a disaster falls on the chief elected official, which is the mayor or alternate in his or her absence, and the emergency manager. The role of village trustees during the response to a disaster is supportive. And then in the recovery phase, during the recovery phase of a disaster, elected officials should expect to focus much of their effort in securing and authorizing funding, including reimbursements for eligible expenses needed for recovery efforts. Elected officials should also review existing and additional public policies regarding mitigation measures. Part of like the circle we talked about where, you know, mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery, then you're back to the beginning again. And it's the 4 pieces of emergency management. Okay, and the concept of operations is the village, first step, the village trustees should ensure the safety of themselves and their families have been addressed. All of the public safety officials, that's in a large scale event like that, that would be the first thing that everybody would do. Village trustees should be cognizant of the Open Meetings Act. Communication between a group of trustees may be considered an OMA violation even during an emergency. Village trustees should become trained in the National Incident Management System, which is called NIMS, Emergency Management, and the National Framework. The basic training is available at no cost through FEMA and provides foundational knowledge of the tenets of emergency management. The next one is village trustees should direct inquiries and requests for information or comments to the village manager. It is absolutely critical that one coordinated message be presented. Individual comments or messages quickly lead to uncontrollable rumors, creating unnecessary distractions for responders. The next one is village trustees should avoid making public statements or comments regarding the emergency or disaster. Public statements will be unified and shared with all elected officials. Village trustees should inquire to the village manager for support roles that may need to be addressed. This will vary depending on the incident. And lastly, village trustees should not spontaneously respond to the scene of an emergency or disaster. If a response is necessary, it will be requested through the chief elected official, the village manager, or the EMA coordinator. We put this together so everybody kind of understands their role, because there was discussion of what is our role in an emergency. So we wanted to put this together so everybody would understand, so we would all be on the same page, that you guys have a very important role. It's just, it's slightly different from the first responders or the support people. So it's just, everybody has a role, it's just different. So, is there any questions on the SOP? Okay.
We're not voting on this tonight, right?
No. Okay, village official and staff training. There are 4 things that we are recommending that all the village officials and all the staff should be trained on. Some of the staff members have started on this training already. So IS 100C is an introduction to the incident command system. Okay, I'll just continue. The next one is IS 700, which is introduction to the National Incident Management System. The purpose for those two is so, and the further ones, is so you understand when you see, if you're asked to fill a role in the Emergency Operations Center, that you will understand why you see what you see, why things operate in a certain way. So why the public safety people, how the chain of command works, and all of these things, because you may be asked to fill a role in that way. The additional ones that we're recommending is IS 200, which is Basic Incident Command for initial response. It's a little higher level of incident command. And then IS 800, which is the National Response Framework introduction, that kind of explains to you how the federal government responds and how their things work, okay? These classes are all available online. I think that's the next one. Yay, okay. They're all available online. You go to training.fema.gov/IS, which is their independent study page. You would register for a FEMA SID, which is a student ID number, and then you would just register for the course. The courses are at your own, you have to, they're at your own speed and whatever, and then you take a test and you finish the course. They're generally about 2 hours, and those are the courses that we're recommending. So,
So at the end of the training of each one of these courses, there's a test that you take.
Yes.
It's an online test just to refresh everything that you've learned, and then you get a certificate that you print off then and you would bring to the village for us to file. And this is something that every community in the state of Illinois, really across the country, does, this NIMS training. And this is something that's really important. There are other additional training modules that are in-person classes. Some of them are a couple hours, some of them are days. But those would be really more for the people who are going to be in control of the emergency incident when it happens. And so those are much more intensive training courses that our fire personnel, EMA people, the Will County Sheriff's Department they're required to be trained in. But these are the ones that we're going to ask all of you, as well as our staff, to get trained in, and then we'll put together a separate list for those that need to go on to that next level of training that's in person.
Okay.
John, can you could you put that screen back where it has the IS 100 whatever dash C? Yes, that one for 1 minute.
We can send this all out to you guys too.
Okay.
Okay. The next thing is just going to be a really quick little video that explains an emergency operations center and what it does. You have to, okay. Or not.
Is critical. Whether it's stopping a disease outbreak or preventing injury and death, you have to start to plan before the emergency occurs, and when it hits, act fast. The ability of your emergency response plan to sustain and succeed in any emergency is dependent on the strength and depth of its roots. A clearly defined chain of command and organizational structure, effective resource management, and advanced planning are important aspects of an emergency response. An incident management system, or IMS, is an internationally recognized model based on these principles. IMS provides the root structure needed to grow your emergency response plan and make it strong enough to withstand natural disasters, disease outbreaks, or any hazard. An Emergency Operations Center, or EOC, is the place from which you run your incident management system. The EOC is where you collect information, make decisions about priorities, and coordinate action and communication. EOCs can expand as the response unfolds and scale down as the emergency is under control. EOCs can be big or small, complex or simple, implemented just as effectively in rural as in urban settings. EOCs are necessary and achievable. Simply put, an EOC and any function within it is people, systems, and things. And
Here you go.
Can I step back? Are you done?
Sure.
I have one question, or one comment. Actually, after Beth had brought up the 2018 reference to the plan as a regional plan that was developed, is there a reason why we wouldn't, with the pages that were updated, put a footer of when they were updated by us as Homer Glen to make this specific to us?
Yeah, what we do is...
so for future staff...
Right. What there is there's, I have to find it, I apologize. Okay. There's actually signature pages in the base plan, and it says 2020 review and concurrence signatures, because we started this in 2020, so we would obviously change the date. So what it does is it gives what we'll do, and the pages, it's actually page 10 in the base plan, and there's actually a section for every town. Now, the other towns that adopted this plan, they would have their signature page filled out. What we are going to do is create a signature page, because unfortunately, once again, back to the uniqueness of Homer Glen, right? We have the village president signs it. We have 5 fire districts that'll have to sign off of it, on it. We'll have the Will County Sheriff will have to sign off on it. We will have our village manager, village clerk, public works director. Those people will all have to sign off. They will have copies of the plan. So when they're called in or their alternates are called in, which is a separate plan, that's, they would have the plan, they would have the information. The book will have signature pages. So the copies that everybody has will all, once we complete this process, once it's approved, we'll actually have a page in there just for Homer Glen for sign off. And that will give the date that everything is signed, sealed, and delivered. So.
Okay. I guess I was looking a step further, but.
Okay.
We could talk about it offline. I'm just saying any pages that were changed by your staff or the staff of the village, by various other departments, wouldn't you want to know those specific pages versus the whole plan? So identifying the specific pages were verbiage.
So you're talking about we put a date at the bottom of all the.
Yeah, perfect example would be we identify police as the intergovernmental agreement between Will County Sheriff and the Village of Homer Glen.
Okay.
That's a specific change to us.
Right.
That is a specific item in the glossary of terms.
Right, well, that's why I said the glossary, this is our glossary of terms. What we did is we took the template glossary and we added the things that are Homer Glen specific. So sure, we could add a footer with the actual.
I only say that because page 5, I don't want to beleaguer this, but page 5 says police department. Now I know if that has updated 2021 on the bottom right-hand side, I know that that single page was updated out of the glossary of terms.
Right, okay.
Just a suggestion.
Okay.
Makes it easier for others.
So do you want it just for the things we changed, or you want it for the entire, all the way across the board?
I would say things that only have been modified from the original regional plan.
Okay.
Don't take mine, I mean, take a consensus or whatever you want to do with that. I'm just, my suggestion.
No, I think that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured when I heard you say that, it made sense.
Yeah, we'd have to go back through all the notes for all the changes that we made and.
Right, so if we had those identified, you wouldn't have to do that the next time.
I do, I have, you know, a pile of notes. I just would have to go back and
Just a suggestion.
and add that to the, so.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, that's all I have.
Are you all set?
I'm set, are you set?
Yeah.
You guys good? Okay. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
What about the budget?
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Sawyer?
This will be very brief. We just, I provided a hard copy of the detailed budget report for the general fund. It's undergone some significant change with actually, it's coming your way. So, I finished it today, and I wanted to just talk about a couple of the big changes that are in there, and it will be part of the big budget document at the next meeting. There's a new Public Works Department that's presented pages 7 through 9. That the data in there is trended data from the Highway Road District. I get monthly financials from them, so I was able to forecast April and also next fiscal year. So they are, it's their data, trended data with a cost of living adjustment. We have not included any street resurfacing. That's going to be part of the motor fuel tax budget. We've also moved the park facilities department from the Park and Recreation Fund to the general fund. So you'll look at it, it'll look kind of odd, but it previously was a department of the Park and Rec Fund. We pulled it in. There's going to be a lot of, we anticipate some commingling of staffing there, some crossover. So I think it's going to probably serve us better over the long run. Also, the local motor fuel tax can't entirely pay for the park facilities department. So it was getting subsidized from things that were intended for capital park improvements. So we also moved the local motor fuel tax that was previously designated for the park facility department into the general fund. That's on pages 6 and 7. The first draft, we just finished it today. It has probably 40 different initiatives in it. It'll be part of the part of the budget document that you'll see in a couple of weeks. Happy to say we are anticipating a surplus of about $700,000, which is on the very last page, and it's in the column third from the right, projected. I like to present another equity sweep that we've done many times over the past few years. I'd like to propose a sweep to the Capital Project Fund in April, contingent upon, you know, the lesser of the surplus or a nominal amount, something that, because a lot of times this doesn't really season out until a month or so after the financials. And at first draft, I don't anticipate a lot of challenges to this general fund. We are presenting a surplus position here so far with all the initiatives. You know, we were fortunate here. We've had a really good mix of sales tax producers here, so we were able to weather the storm pretty well here. And as you can see, we're going to come through this and be able to continue to do things we've done in the past. So I wanted you to get a look at it now. That way, when you get the full budget document, it won't look so foreign to you, and you'll be a little more comfortable with it. So certainly, if you have any more questions on it, because you just got it right now, so call me, email me, and I'll answer any of your questions. I just want to minimize the impact of these big changes on the next document.
So at the next board meeting, we're going to have the workshop on the budget on March 24th.
Okay. Is it for you, John?
That's it for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming by tonight. I know it's a late one now. All right, is there any old business? Is there any new business? All righty then. The next item is executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel, potential and pending litigation, and purchase or sale of real properties?
So moved.
Trustee Gray?
I'll second.
Trustee Backel? We need a couple-minute break?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll give a 5-minute, and then we'll go into executive session.
Yep.
Do I need a roll call?
You need a
We didn't vote.
All in favor, maybe?
favor vote.
Well, all in favor?
Aye.
No one answered me about anything.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Do we stay here or go to a different?
Thank you, I
No, we stay
appreciate
here.
that. Well, this is, I've loved it here, and it just was just an opportunity that couldn't pass up. But I'm still
Part
going
of
to
it,
be in touch, but I really do appreciate that, thank you. Yep.